What's going on, guys? Welcome to video number 3 of our new coach quick success titled Your Why. Now this is going to be one of the most important topics that you're going to learn as a coach, and that's going to help you get started right and help you endure for the long run. Because if you're in this business, you've chosen to do health and fitness for your lifestyle, and so you're going to need to be able to keep driven, motivated, and inspired yourself to continue on your journey for the long haul if you ever hope to inspire and help somebody else. So welcome everybody that's on this call right now. So guys, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about your why it's important, what a why is. And now what they say is if your why makes you cry, it's strong enough. So it can either make you cry in two ways. Being something so painful you're going through in your life right now, or have gone through, that it causes you to become emotional or to cry, or it's something so great in the future that you're looking forward to that when you envision yourself accomplishing it, it brings you to tears and makes you cry. So your why has got to make you cry. So one of the activities that I'm going to have you do at the end of this, and a takeaway and a call at action that I'm going to have you guys do, is I'm going to have you guys write out your why, but I need to make sure that you guys understand what that is, why that's important. So I started off really strong in the beginning of my journey as a coach in April of 2011 because I had a strong and solid why. So my why, specifically for me, so you guys can understand a little bit about this, was that I had become that guy with the dad bod that was uncomfortable with my body, that was tired and exhausted all the time, that was working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday, that had my wife at work. And I had a life-changing experience with P90X. I lost 38 pounds in 90 days. I gained some confidence. I gained energy. I was excited about life again. I had something that got me excited instead of being in this routine of just going to work, going to sleep, going to work, and being exhausted all the time. But the thing that was my why that was stronger, and the story that I told people in the beginning, the story that I tell people every day now, is that I was, sick and tired of being overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated. And I realized that if I helped enough people with P90X and Insanity, because that's all we had back in 2011, if I helped enough people get results with those programs, that I could bring my wife home from work. That I had a goal of making $10,000 a year. I would do whatever it took and help as many people as it took so I could be able to bring my wife home from work. And that was it. That was my why. That was the strong why that kept me driven. And here's the thing. The person that tells the story the most wins. And your story is your why. Here's basically how you're going to, and I've made detailed videos about this you can see later. This is what my life was like before. This is how my life has changed and transformed since using these programs, products, and this coach opportunity. And this is why, third step, this is why I'm going to do this. This is the reason that I'm doing it. So mine was, I was overweight, overworked, underappreciated, and 40 pounds overweight. And in 90 days, I lost 38 pounds with P90X because I watched my coach be able to walk away from bartending and be able to take care of her daughter who had complications during her birth. She was able to walk away from bartending and be able to help pay the medical bills and be present and home with her daughter. And so I saw that, and that's when my why began to really develop. From just wanting to help people with P90X because of how I felt, I realized that I wanted to bring my wife home from work. And I wanted to be able to not have to drop my kids off at the daycare every single day. So that became my why. I was willing to help every single person that I possibly could with P90X so I could bring her home from work. So the activity that I want you guys to do is to really figure out and identify what your why is. And one important thing to know about this is, and this is a quote from Simon Sinek from a TED Talk called Start With Why, and a book also he wrote called Start With Why, is people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So you as a new coach, me as the experienced coach, and every single person in this company has the same product, the same opportunity, the same compensation plan, the same trainings basically, because they're all on YouTube. So what's going to make you stand apart? What's going to make somebody connect with you? And that's your why. So you're going to have to be a little bit vulnerable. And this is where I believe the disconnect on why some guys struggle. Not guys on our team. Our guys crush it. But this is why most guys struggle, is you're going to have to be vulnerable, and you're going to have to get that struggle and that why out there. Okay, you're going to have to get that out into the world on social media, in text message, in voice memos, when you get on the phone with somebody, when you meet with someone in person, you're going to have to get vulnerable and talk about your why with somebody. So, what I want you guys to understand, I'm going to tell part of my story, and then I want you to identify, think about the thoughts that come into your mind when I say it. Because that's going to help you think about your why, think about what it is in your life that's going to keep you driven and motivated. And one thing to think about when you think about this, guys, is oftentimes your why is that thing when you lay in bed and you can't sleep at night, that's your why. That's the reason. It's the thing you worry about. It's the thing that keeps you from sleeping. So if you can articulate, put into words that why and be able to share that with people, the thing about a why is that when someone reads that or someone watches that on a video, or you talk to them at the coffee shop face to face, or you're on the phone with them, or you're on a video chat with them, sharing with them, they're not going to be moved by the coach opportunity or by just seeing a product or seeing all the details of Shakeology, how it's going to help them benefit health-wise. They're not going to be moved by that in the beginning. Those are facts. And facts don't move people. It's going to be the emotion that moves people. So I want you to really think about them. This is going to be an activity and an action for you guys as a brand new coach so you can identify this. So I remember specifically, I told you guys I lost 38 pounds with P90X, got in the best shape of my life, had abs for the first time at 29 years old, super excited and fired up about life again, and had all this extra energy to be able to run around with my 2 kids. And at the time, my 2 kids, I just remember there became one moment, I started helping people with P90X and fall in love with that, but I just wasn't connected to this coach opportunity to becoming a coach. And then I remember specifically one day on April 11th, 2011, it was 18 days after the birth of my 3rd daughter, Alina. And I remember I had this habit of picking up the mail from the mailbox. And I would grab the mail, I would stuff it in my lunchbox, and I would run to work. I would get there about 10 minutes early, about 5:20 in the morning. I usually started about 5:30. And I would go into the shipping room that I helped manage, and I would throw all the junk mail in the shipping department room, garbage, and I would put the bills into my lunchbox. And I remember that morning there was more than normal, and it was from the doctor, the hospital, the anesthesiologist, the ear doctor. And I remember I was like, I'm just going to open these. I opened them, and it was all the bills from the birth of my daughter, Alina. And I remember this overwhelming feeling because my wife, you know, when the baby was born 3 weeks prior to this, had taken off work to have the baby, and she could not go, she was not back to work yet, and she doesn't have paid maternity leave, so she's missing her income. And her income, plus my 12 hours a day, we could barely keep up with a mortgage with that. And so I remember, you know, that stress of she's not at work, and I remember thinking, do we send her back to work? Do we need to get, you know, now we have one more child, we need more health, we need more babysitter, its cost is going to be a little bit more. And then I remember seeing these bills, and they came to a little over $3,000, and I just remember, how are we going to pay this? And it was like many times in my past that I've laid in bed as a father, wondering how I'm going to take care of my family, what should I do, am I on the right path? And I'd be staying up at night, and I remember this day at work, I began to feel like the world was spinning around me, like this crushing weight was on my shoulders, and I didn't know what to do, and I was afraid, and I was scared. And that day, my fear of not knowing how to, of failing at this Beachbody coach and giving it a try and putting myself into this became greater than my fear of not knowing how to take care of my family. And that's the day that I signed up as a Beachbody coach. And I decided that day that I would help as many people as possible get and achieve results with P90X and Insanity, so I could bring my wife home from work. I wouldn't have to drop my kids off at the babysitter every single day, and I wouldn't have to stay awake at night, even though I was sleeping very little, trying to figure out this and try to understand this part of life. And that may seem selfish to some people in the beginning, that I was going to do that for me to bring her home, but that was important to me, and that's what kept me driven. And I remember specifically in my journey, I told every single person on the phone, via text message, at work, on video, in Facebook challenge groups, to my neighbors, at my softball games. I would tell everybody that story, that was going to help as many people as possible that it took to bring my wife home from work. And so that was my why. That's what kept me driven. And your why is going to continually adjust and change with time. I remember when it became much deeper, when it became just bringing my wife home, to being able to myself become a stay-at-home dad was 8 months into my journey. I remember I was homesick from work. I had already been working on my business hard, really hard for 8 months. And I remember being sick with the man flu, the man cold. And it was 3 days in bed, sick and tired and missing work and feeling grateful that my Beachbody income could help cover that. But I remember my wife saying, hey, you might as well get out of bed, get dressed, and Keena's about going to get off the school bus. So maybe you'll start to feel better if you get up and go out there and meet her at the bus. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. And this was a Friday afternoon. I remember getting dressed, going outside, and walking down the cul-de-sac. And I was walking down the cul-de-sac. I was about halfway there, and I remember my daughter's bus came pulling up to the end of the cul-de-sac, and it stopped. And it was like time stopped for me. Like the whole world just stopped in this moment. Like you see in the movies, you know? And I remember the sound of the door opening. And I remember my at the time 5-year-old daughter, Akina, coming around the corner with her head down, with her little backpack on, grabbing onto the little rails. And I remember she looked up, and her face just lit up with excitement that her daddy was picking her up at the school bus. And that hit me so hard. And I'm going back there right now. And it hit me so hard because I realized I saw the joy in her of seeing her daddy there present for her. But more importantly, what I think it did for me is that it helped me realize in that moment how many days I'd missed. How many moments in her life of that smile of that little child that I had missed. And so it was that day that I decided and realized that my purpose, like I realized I was bringing my wife home. I had already worked hard on that. But it shifted away from the focus on me to the focus on other people. I realized that yes, I wanted to be a stay-at-home dad, do Beachbody full-time. I loved what I was doing, and I continue to love it to this day, 6 years later. But I realized in that moment, on that day, that if this small-town Idaho Falls guy, with only 224 friends on Facebook when he started, with little self-esteem, that was shy, but was a hard-working guy, if he could do it, that I could teach anybody how to do it through my example in teaching them and showing them what I've done with Beachbody, with P90X, with Insanity, with Shakeology, with this coach opportunity. I could help any person that ever felt like that in their life be able to accomplish what they wanted in their life because I did it, because it was possible for me. So that was my why, guys. So what I want you guys to do, your activity, your takeaway, first of all, I want you to think about how you felt when I told parts of my story. See, people are going to give you their blood, sweat, and tears to work on their why and their goals and their dreams when they can connect with you, when they can have a common vision and goal of what they want to accomplish with their life. So I want you to think about the things in your life that scare you, the things that bring you pain, the things that you wish you could change but you haven't known how. Well, this is your opportunity to do that. Team Beachbody, this team, this tribe that we have, and the tools we have, the training we have, the plan we have, the products we have are going to completely change your health, life, and fitness if you put in the work, but it's also going to be able to help you change your life financially, whatever that is, if you put in the hard work, diligence, and increase your skills. So with that being said, your activity, your takeaway that you guys are going to do for your why is you're going to sit down. I know it's hard. Many of you guys are parents. Do it when they're asleep. Wake up early. Spend 30 minutes to an hour and really write out your why, the reason why you're doing this. And then when it feels right to you, you need to get that out on social media. You need to use that written out why to send in a text message to someone, in a private message to someone. You need to practice telling it to people, tell it to your family, tell it to your spouse, tell it to your kids, and get your why and your reason out there. And then one thing is going to help you guys on top of that, that's going to help you connect. That's when people are going to connect to you and be like, Scotty, I'm in. Because you're going to be excited about it. I remember, I didn't know what I was doing as a brand new coach. I didn't know I was in a network marketing company. I thought I had to sell like 300 P90Xs because I didn't even know how the compensation plan worked. I just knew that I was excited about it. I knew I was going to bring my wife home and I was going to help people. And people didn't even understand what I was saying in the beginning, but they joined me because they could feel it. They're like, dude, I don't even know what you just said, but I'm in. Like, I'm in. I feel you. I'm in that struggle too, and I'm going to change it. I'm in. I'm doing this. So that's how your why is. That's your activity. So what I want you guys to do is send that why to your upline coach. Send it to your sponsor coach so they know why you're doing this. And then it's up to you. The sooner you get your story out there, the sooner people are going to begin to connect with you. Because we all have the same product, opportunity, and everything else, guys. So the sooner you get out there, the sooner they're gonna come to you. So and connect with you and be willing to work hard with you on this journey. So hope this helps you guys. Be sure to connect with me and make sure you watch number 4 video in your coach training and stay connected with me. Let me know how you're doing on these videos because we're in this together, and I want you to achieve what you want in your life. So see you guys later.